Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Rural Report. I am your Rural 2IC. And guess what time it is, folks? It's time for another ugly truth about SHTF, survival, prepping, all that fun stuff. And so, for those of you that are new, which I'm going to speak on here in just a minute, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Um, this is just one of those sit back and we're just going to have a little bit of a chit chat, different from most of my other videos. For those of you that are not new, well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, here's another world talk. You know what's about to happen. So, here we go. Now, before I get started, uh, I have to say that I got an email over the weekend. I don't know when this is going to drop, so uh, this was a few days, week, whatever, when this happened. But I got an email from a new subscriber, and a little bit lengthy. And I read through the whole thing, and they basically was saying, stumbled upon your channel, watched about 5 or 6 episodes, really enjoy it. You put out great information. I agree with most of the stuff. Yes, there's a few things I disagree. Said that they watch, a few other people, this and that and everything else. And then they went through, and there was two parts that I pulled out. One is that they wanted to thank me because now this answers some questions where I have a few people that quote unquote poke fun at me for not using adult colorful language. Okay. And this email, they actually thanked me because they say, hey, I listened to this person or this group or this podcast. And they're like, I can't play it at work. I'm in a professional environment and you can't do that. Or they're like, hey, when I go pick my kids up, I don't want F bomb this, F bomb that, with my toddler in the car. And so they're like, there's you and Travis and, some of the other ones that they can turn on and it's safe for work and family friendly. And that kind of made me smile upon that. It's nice to be able to get my message across and be able to appeal to a wider range of people. When you use a certain language, when you come off a certain way, there's nothing bad about that. You're going to get people that are going to argue both ways. Kind of my point of this whole video. But you're going to get people that say, well, if you don't say F this and F that, then they're not alpha and I'm not going to follow them. And okay, well, good for you. Then you got the other people. Well, I'm religious, or, if you feel the need to speak that way, then you can't get your point across. You're not really, okay. There's a lot of arguments to go. Okay. The point for me, though, is it's my channel and I get to choose how I speak. I'm a grown man and I can do what I want. And I have chosen to do it this way. And that is my reasoning. So, to be able to get somebody to come on and thank me for my choice was great. And then they also said that they enjoyed it so much that they saw that I had 400 posted videos, which took me by surprise because I was like, wait a second, do I really have 400 videos? And they said that they were going to go back and just basically start playing them while they were at work or driving around or whatever. And they really wanted to start watching a bunch of them. So you know who you are if you're watching this. Thank you very much for that. So we're going to get into a couple of those. Now, what does it really mean to be alpha? Does that mean that I'm this big, rough, tough, bully that stomps around and looks mean and angry all the time and I can just punch anybody and beat up whoever I want and, I physically put people into their place. They abide by my rules and all that. Okay, that's not my definition of alpha. Um, Alpha, for me, my opinion, is a person that can take charge. Now, does that mean that they need to physically take charge? In some situations, yeah, it does. Does every situation call for that? No. Most shouldn't, but they should have that ability. That comes with that saying, and I know some of you are going to say it right along with me. It's better to be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in a war. And an alpha should be able to be both. You should have it to where you are that warrior in a garden. During times of peace, you shouldn't have to flex muscles and go stomp around and punch people and do things like that. A lot of it comes from here. And then once you get it from here, you know how to get it out here. Can you get everything taken in that situation? Can you process it? Can you read the person? Can you read the situation? Can you read the body language? Can you figure everything out? And then phrase it correctly to get your point across and to get things accomplished. That is alpha. Now, the thing is, though, and I see this a lot, is that the term beta is a bad thing. Now, for the most part, yes, okay, but it's been taken over. Beta is not necessarily a bad thing. When you're talking about, let's say, for example, now hear me out on this, a pack of wolves, okay? You have an alpha male. The whole pack's not alpha, it can't work. And a group, you get one alpha, you get betas. Now, are those betas ones that you make fun of? Yeah, go up to a pack of wolves, take the alpha out, and then pick any one of them and go up there and laugh in that wolf's face and see how well it turns out for you. Still a vicious animal. The point is that the world needs betas. You need that strong second. You need a couple of strong seconds. You need the people that alpha can trust that when something goes down, they're right here. They're right behind them. They're ready to defend. They may not be the huge, strong, decision making, whatever, but they're right there, and that alpha trusts them to be right by their side, to be right here to have his back. And the world needs those. Just because there's people out there that can't step up on stage and take hold of the situation and be a leader doesn't mean that there shouldn't be betas out there that can get things done. They just need a little bit of direction. And you have to decide which one it is for you. Now, a lot of people will fall into that beta category. And it's one of those sad things that people have taken that term and they've turned it into a disgusting, whatever. They've hijacked it. It's not right. The real thing is the one where the wolf is born and it's afraid of everything. It's just not going to make it. Now, should it be cast out? People are different. It's kind of like protecting the weak, the young, the sick, the elderly. If you're going to have family, if you're going to have a mag, just because you have somebody that doesn't fit the mold, if they have skill, if they have talent, if they're sincere, it doesn't mean that you kick them out to fend for themselves. It means that you need to protect them. One of the big things is when you have an SHTF situation, yes, you need to be strategic. Yes, you need to have people that contribute. But if you have, say, grandma is 95 years old, grandma doesn't have a whole lot she can contribute. Yes, there's things that she can do. Maybe you put a blanket on her and give her some wool, and her job is to knit scarves and sweaters and things. She can get that done still. But can she go out and hunt and fish and gather and protect and do hand-to-hand combat? No. Okay, it's not going to happen. But does that mean when something happens on the piece of property that grandma, you just vacate? No, you circle and protect. And so there needs to be some things that I think need to be discussed and thought about. That when things go down, whatever that is, we don't take the weak and abandon. You don't do that to a baby. You don't do it to the elderly. You don't do it to the sick and injured. And so there is a time and a place for everything. Now, if you have an able bodied person that they're just lazy or they have no motivation, okay, that's a hard decision that you're going to have to make. Look, you can help out, you can contribute, you just don't want to. We're not going to feed you. You either pony up and help out and contribute, or you can go somewhere else because you're just another useless mouth to feed that we can't afford right now. Hard decision you're going to have to make. Now, for the sake of time, let's move into the next one. Because speaking of that hard decision that you're going to have to make, you also need to be realistic. Now, usually people have two tendencies that they think about when it comes to SHTF. And a lot of times, the mistake that I personally see, in my own opinion, mind you, is they go to one extreme or the other. Either it is mutated zombie Loch Ness monster hybrid whatever that shoots laser beams out of their eyes, or the only SHTF that's going to happen is maybe an earthquake, and so they go from, yeah, it's probably going to happen, but it's only going to last like a couple of hours, maybe a weekend, and that's about all the SHTF situation actually is going to happen. That other stuff's just garbage. Versus you get the other people that the only time an SHTF situation that's going to happen is a total apocalyptic chaos, brink of whole world annihilation. Honestly, it's probably somewhere in the mix of those two. And you got to look on your survivability rate. You have to be honest with yourself. We talked about this kind of in the last one. Most people that don't think realistically, you are one splinter away from getting an infection and not having what you need or not having the skill to take care of it from not making it. You are one slip down the stairs because you were just complacent and not paying attention from not making it. You are one this, one that. You are one step at any given time after an SHTF situation of just not making it. Okay, now we're talking about grids down, you can't go to the hospital, you can't call for help, all that stuff. You are one mistake away from not making it. And so if we go to this extreme over here, where you've got whatever Loch Ness monster with laser beams, your statistics of survival is low, very low. Okay. Now, do I believe that the Loch Ness monster is going to come get you? No, I don't. Okay. That's not the point of this video. The point of it is taking out the details, if you will. Is there some sort of major worldwide, countrywide, whatever event that's a major SHTF situation? Could it happen? Yeah, it could. So we'll put whatever you want as the cause. What is your chances of survival? Well, I'll tell you what, you can look up to any idolized prepper, survivalist, whatever. Their rate is not 100%. Okay? It's not going to happen. Mistakes will happen, and you just get unlucky sometimes. Human nature. You make a mistake. You're going to. You're not perfect every single day. And yeah, a lot of it's going to go on luck. Yeah, you can have gear and skill and preps and all sorts of stuff, but if something happens, you got to be okay with that. You've got to know that no matter how much money, how much time, how much everything that you could possibly do, your chances are never 100% survivability rating. It's not. Now, that's not to scare you. That's not to tell you it's all worth, or it's not worth the time. Don't do it. It is worth the time. That's the whole point of me being on here making 400 plus videos, is that you should be preparing. Now, you have to make that decision. Are you on the low end extreme, or the worst SHTF situation that you're ever going to experience in your entire life is going to be a few hours, maybe a weekend? I hope that is all you ever have to do. I really do. The chances of it being a little bit longer than that, probably a little higher. Okay. Now, are you the other end? Are you the one that it's going to be 6 months, a year, civilization will never return to modern, the modern era that we're in now? Could it happen? Yeah, sure. It could. Very well could. Uh, do I think that's what's going to happen? There's a chance of it. Okay. Um, I hope it never comes to that, because even my survivability isn't that high. Uh, the longer it goes on, the more all of us, our rate goes down. And even if you are lucky enough, you have a whole bunch, you have a 50-person mag, you're out, you've got 100 head of cattle, you've got chickens galore, you grow acres and acres of crops, you got all this stuff, going on to where you've got power and you got your own natural gas reserve and you're so set up, okay? You're still not 100% survivability rate. Okay, sorry to tell you, you're just not. You're set up way better than most of us. It's me included, but it's still not 100%. And people need to get that, especially the people that get into it for a little while. Now, my channel is usually around the people that are new to prepping, but I have a lot of people that are intermediate and even some advanced that stick around because they enjoy the content. Thank you for that, by the way. But complacency is a bad thing, as well as getting it to where you have a false sense of security. Well, I've got all these boomsticks, and I got 50,000 gallons of water, and I've got a whole bunch of stuff freeze dried and this and that. I'll be fine. For how long? Until what else happens? There's a lot that can go wrong. You got to remember, you are one person. You have to be right every second of every day. Again, you're one little tiny piece of metal accidentally getting into your eye, to having an infection and trying to be SHTF warrior blind. Okay? I mean, it can happen. And you can either accept the fact that you're human and you're going to do everything in your power to learn and gather and do what you can, or you can get it to where life happens. You're human. You make mistakes. Uh, any given time, anything can happen. And I want people to be able to understand that. You're not 100%. You're also really not zero, okay? Now, you can get really close to zero, but how many people have you seen on TikTok or whatever where they're holding the book and walk out into a 18-lane highway and walk across safely by whatever? uh, there is a thing called dumb luck, and you can have some person that literally has a gallon of water and some Pop Tarts, and that's all they have for surviving SHTF. And maybe they'll live a little longer than some other people, just out of dumb luck. Okay, SHTF happens, they're alive within 24 hours. Guess what? It wasn't zero. Now, will they last very long? Probably not. Okay, but it's not zero. You are in control of how close you are to 0 and how close you are to 100%. You have to make the decision on what you need. Do you need to learn more things? Do you need to learn more skills? Do you need to learn how to forage, how to tie knots, how to start a fire, how to make water safe? Do you need to learn how to hunt, how to gather? Do you need to learn medical? Maybe you got a lot of that down. Be a good time to maybe brush up on some things. Run some practice drills, take a refresher class. Maybe you need to bump up some of your gear. Maybe there's a few things that you don't have that could probably be useful, or they're getting a little worn out. Maybe it's time to actually get a little bit better of one, replace something, maybe have a backup so now you have two, maybe to get some things to do some repairs. There's a lot that can go into it. Remember, prepping is not cookie cutter. There's not a one size fits all. And honestly, for most of it, there's no right or wrong way. The right way means that you survived. The wrong way means you didn't. Now, the way that you did it with this tool and your knowledge may take a lot more effort and may take a lot longer. But in the end, if you started a fire, is it really wrong? The other guy may have a big lighter and go like this and start a fire in 2 seconds. He might laugh at you. But the thing is after an hour, if you both have a fire, the end result's the same. Yeah, you might learn from the other guy and go, you know what? I know how to do the rubbing the sticks together, but that was a lot easier. Maybe I should learn how to do that. Okay? But before the people start agreeing and keep rewarding it, that lighter's going to run out. That lighter might get lost or broken. Then who's laughing? Because that guy that it takes 45 minutes rubbing a stick together, he can rub sticks together every single day. And so once that lighter gets broken, lost, stolen, the lighter fluid runs out, he's going to suddenly be looking around to that guy that goes, hey, I'm sorry about laughing at you. Can you show me how to rub some sticks together? Okay. No right or wrong way. As long as the end result gets you to that goal, you accomplish what you set out to do. Don't get narrow-minded, though. There might be an easier way. Doesn't mean the way that you're doing it is wrong. There might be a more efficient way. There might be a different way, so that way, if you don't have this resource, you have the knowledge and the skill to use this resource. There's lots of different ways to go about it, and you've got to figure out what fits your particular needs, what makes you comfortable, what fits in your budget, what ultimately works for you. Now, for the sake of time, I'm going to end it here. We're going to have a lot more of these talks. I get a ton of you guys reach out and love these little chit chats and all these different things. And guess what? I didn't use naughty words. I know I'll get one of you that says something down in the comments about that. It's okay. I'm a big boy. Trust me, I can handle it. So, if you made it to this far in the video, guess what? Congrats, you rock. I appreciate you guys for spending a little bit of time whenever this video decides to release. And, yeah, stay tuned. I hope you guys have a blessed night. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you again for hanging out. Do all the YouTube stuff. You know what it is. If you're new here, welcome again. If you're not new here, then say it with me now. Above everything else, please remember to remain united, because we're all prepping in this together.